kids are already strapped for cash between school supplies, living expenses, and loans. And the last thing a college student needs is credit card debt. So we're going to talk a little bit more about that, because that need for money is exactly what makes them a prime target of credit card companies. Paul Oster is the president of the New Jersey Credit Repair from Better Qualified, and he joins us now with tips to keep college freshmen out of the credit card trap. Paul, thanks for being with us both this afternoon.
Thanks for having me back on.
All right, so let's start with how credit card companies are targeting college students. What are they doing?
Well, if you were like me, I mean, I was offered a free pizza just to apply for a credit card my freshman year, and my love of pizza certainly got me in some trouble because I wound up defaulting on my first credit card, the nation's credit repairman, believe it or not. But look, they go after these kids because there's a need for cash. Yeah. Most kids are working very little, sparse jobs here and there. So where is that cash going to come from? And unfortunately, a lot of times it's going to come from a credit card.
Yeah, and it often speaks to a lot of students are, first generation college students and may not have the financial backing from their parents. So how long would you say that it takes for the debt to actually pile up, and what's the worst case scenario?
Well, listen, it happens very, very quickly. It's a slippery slope. The first thing they have to realize is what daily compounding interest means. And that means your balance grows every single day. You don't have to spend another dime. Your balance will be higher tomorrow than it is today. It'll be higher the day after, the day after. And if you don't pay it off in full, by the end of that billing cycle, all of that accrued interest is due. So look, set the auto pay to pay your statement balance in full. It's a good indication of whether or not you're on that slippery slope, because if you can't pay the balance statement in full, you're overspending. Set that credit limit, set your own credit limit. Let's say you get it approved for a credit card, $2,000, $5,000, $10,000. That's not your credit limit. Your credit limit should be 10% of the overall credit limit on that credit card, and you could set it even lower than that. These are personal goals that these students have to learn very, very early, because debt will accrue very, very quick.
Well, I got to tell you, now more than ever, you click your iPhone 2 times on the right-hand side, and there it goes. Your credit card's at your hands. It's you don't have to take it out of your wallet anymore. So it's too easy these days. How do you avoid, as a student, racking up credit debt?
Well, again, you have to use one card. So you mentioned it, right? They may have 3 or 4 cards in their wallet, Venmo, Zelle, Cash App, all of these different things. It's almost impossible to track. So if you're going to use a credit card, and believe it or not, I do not advocate not using credit cards, because we can't just eliminate this necessary evil. So we have to teach them how to manage the debt. And one of the easiest ways is to certainly keep it to one card and one card only. If you can't pay off the statement balance in full, come up with a 3-month plan to pay off the debt. And that might mean not spending another dime on the credit card.
Yeah.
Let's talk a little bit more about that, basically getting rid of that debt. What are some ways to make sure that these students are actually paying those bills?
So you have to have a budget with a capital B in place. Where is this money going to come from? You can beg your parents, you can beg your friends, but if you don't have a job, if you don't have income, where is that money going to come from? So maybe it is time that you get at least one job, if not a second gig, and have a budget in place. Realize how much money you're spending each and every month and how much money you're generating in income. And look, most of their parents probably didn't have a household budget in place. So this is something that the students have to own for themselves. They have to take responsibility and ownership of this, or they're going to find out very, very quickly, because what happens is the higher credit card balances, the lower the credit scores. That's without missing a payment. Just higher balances will lower your credit scores. If you go over 30% of your credit limits, if your balances are over 30%, your scores are automatically coming down very, very quickly. And these are young borrowers that don't have, it's called a thin credit profile. They don't have a long credit history, so it can wind up hurting them very, very quickly. So have a budget in place. I can't stress it enough. You have to have a plan. If you find yourself, you overspent on a credit card, get out of that debt as quickly as possible, because it just keeps getting worse.
Yeah, you cannot learn that lesson too early, that's for sure. The one card thing makes sense because there's just so many other ways